I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Picture this: a high school kid, son of immigrants who believed education was everything, gets some news from his parents. They tell him if he wants to attend a top university, he's on his own for the money. Scholarships are his only ticket. So what does he do? He builds himself a scholarship hunting machine. Applications become his full-time job. 60 scholarships later, he's swimming in acceptance letters and enough money to cover one of the best universities in the world. But here's where it gets interesting. This story isn't really about that triumph. It's about what happened when the first check arrived, $2,000 with his name on it. For a teenager, that's like winning the lottery. He remembers thinking, "I'm smart. I should do something smart with this." So he marches down to open an investment account and dumps it all into the stock market. Then he watches half of it evaporate. $1,000 just gone. That gut punch moment, that's where his real education began. It launched him on a mission to actually understand money, not just earn it. That kid was Ramit Sethi, and everything he learned from that failure became the backbone of one of the most practical personal finance books ever written, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. This book has sold millions of copies, and here's why. It doesn't promise magic. It offers something better, a straightforward 6-week program that actually works. It's about building what Ramit calls a rich life, where money stops being this constant background anxiety and becomes a tool for freedom, generosity, and living exactly how you want. Over the next few minutes, we're diving into the powerful and sometimes surprising philosophy behind this book. You'll discover not just how to build a system that grows your wealth on autopilot, but more importantly, how to figure out what a rich life actually means to you, and then construct the machine that gets you there automatically. This isn't about guilt-tripping you over lattes. It's about learning to think about money in a way most people never will. Ever wonder why so many smart, capable people struggle with money year after year? It's bizarre, really. We're drowning in financial information, blogs, podcasts, cable shows, and yet we seem more confused, more stressed, and more frozen about money than ever before. Ramit noticed something fascinating. Our relationship with money mirrors our relationship with health. Think about weight loss for a second. Deep down, we all know the secret. Eat less, move more. That's literally it. That's 99% of the game. But what do we actually do? We argue about the tiniest details. Keto versus paleo. Intermittent fasting versus counting macros. Whether lemon water first thing in the morning somehow unlocks your metabolism. We adore debating these microscopic details because it feels productive. It feels like progress. But really, it's procrastination dressed up in smart-sounding language. It lets us feel busy while avoiding the real work of, actually eating less and moving more. Money works exactly the same way. We obsess over questions like, should I buy cryptocurrency? Or, which credit card has the absolute best rewards? We read market predictions like they're horoscopes. We get trapped in what Ramit calls analysis paralysis. We spend so much energy debating the tiny stuff that we never do the simple, powerful things that actually build wealth. Here's the truth. Most of us fall into one of two camps. Either we completely ignore our money, living with this constant, low-level anxiety humming in the background. Or we obsess over every penny, tracking it all in elaborate spreadsheets, feeling guilty every time we buy coffee. Both roads lead to the same place, a life where money creates stress instead of freedom. The core message of I Will Teach You to Be Rich is that there's a third path. You spend a few hours building a simple, automated system, and then you get on with your actual life. You can spend lavishly on the things you love, while ruthlessly cutting costs on the things you don't care about. This journey starts with a major mindset shift. It begins by rejecting the idea that personal finance has to be about deprivation. The world is packed with experts telling you the road to wealth is paved with misery. Stop buying lattes, reuse your tea bags, turn down the thermostat until you need a parka indoors. This is what it means to be cheap. A cheap person worries about the cost of everything. They'll fight with a server over $1, while everyone at the table squirms. Ramit introduces something much more powerful: conscious spending. A conscious spender cares about the value of things. They get that money is a tool, and the whole point is using that tool to build a life you genuinely love. This means making choices. You can't have everything, but you can have the things that matter most to you. Love to travel? Perfect. A conscious spending plan lets you book that trip to Italy without a shred of guilt. Obsessed with fashion? Great. Buy that designer jacket. The key is the trade-off. To afford what you love, you have to be ruthless about cutting what you don't care about. Maybe you couldn't care less about having the newest phone. Maybe you're totally fine driving a decade-old car because it runs great and it's paid off. Maybe you'd rather cook at home than eat at trendy restaurants. By saying no to the things that don't spark joy, you free up incredible amounts of money to shout yes to the things that do. This simple idea is the foundation of a rich life. Before we even talk about bank accounts or index funds, you have to ask yourself something most people never consider. What does a rich life actually mean to you? Get specific. Don't give me vague stuff like freedom. What does that freedom look like on a random Tuesday? For one person, it might be taking a taxi instead of a packed subway. For another, it might mean ordering appetizers without glancing at the price. It could be taking your parents on a vacation they could never afford themselves, or leaving a job you hate to start a business you're passionate about. Money is just one piece of this puzzle. A rich life is about relationships, experiences, and making an impact. But getting your money right is what makes all those other things possible. And the way to do that isn't by being perfect, it's by being good enough. This is what Ramit calls the 85% solution. It's better to get started and be 85% correct than to wait for the perfect time or the perfect information and do nothing at all. The single biggest factor in getting rich is simply getting started, not being the smartest person in the room, just beginning. So how do we start? We build the foundation of our financial system. This is the 6-week program at the heart of the book. It starts with two things most people fear: credit cards and banks. Most financial advice begins by telling you to be terrified of credit cards. They're presented like weapons designed to trap you in debt forever. And sure, for many people that's exactly what happens. But that's a defensive mindset. Ramit teaches you to go on offense. When used responsibly, a credit card is one of your most powerful financial tools. First, if you pay your bill in full every month, it's basically a free short-term loan. But beyond that, credit cards offer amazing rewards and protections. Automatic warranty extensions on electronics, free car rental insurance, trip cancellation coverage, and of course the points and cash back that can add up to thousands of dollars a year in free flights and hotels. Ramit uses a simple system: a travel card for dining and travel, and a cash back card for everything else. He racks up thousands in cash back and mountains of rewards points every year. The key is following what he calls the 6 commandments of credit cards. The first and most crucial: pay your bill on time, and, ideally, in full. Do this one thing, and you'll never pay a cent of interest. You become what credit card companies call a deadbeat. Someone who pays on time and generates zero revenue for them. That's exactly what you want to be. You also learn to negotiate. Did you know you can call your credit card company and ask them to waive your annual fee or lower your interest rate? It doesn't always work, but it takes 5 minutes and succeeds surprisingly often. Building solid credit history is one of the most important big wins in your financial life. Your credit score is like a financial report card. A high score can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime through lower interest rates on mortgages, car loans, and anything else you borrow. It's way more impactful than skipping a few coffees. Once you've optimized your credit cards, next up, tackling your bank accounts. Most of us opened a bank account in college, usually with some big-name bank, and then stuck with it for decades out of pure inertia. But these big banks are often terrible. Hidden fees everywhere. High minimum balance requirements. Interest rates that are basically zero. The solution is finding a bank that works for you, not against you. The book recommends a simple, powerful setup. First, a local, no-fee checking account for convenience if you need to deposit cash. But the real workhorse is your online high-interest savings account. These online banks have lower overhead, so they can pass those savings to you with higher interest rates and no fees. Ramit recommends keeping your checking and savings accounts at 2 separate banks. Sounds inconvenient, right? But there's a clever psychological reason for it. Your checking account is for spending. Your savings account is for saving. By creating a little friction, a 2-day transfer time between them, you're way less likely to raid your long-term savings for an impulse purchase. It forces you to be intentional. With your cards and accounts optimized, you've built the foundation. Now it's time to build the engine that will truly make you rich. Investing. This is where most people get intimidated. We're told investing is only for wealthy people, or that it's impossibly complicated, or that it's basically gambling. All wrong. Investing is the single most effective way for regular people to build serious wealth. The reason is something Albert Einstein supposedly called the 8th wonder of the world: compound interest. Compounding happens when your money earns money, and then that money starts earning its own money. It's a snowball effect. Imagine you invest just $1,000. In a regular savings account earning tiny interest, it might grow a bit over the years. But if you invest it in the stock market, which has historically returned about 8% per year over the long term, that $1,000 can grow to over $10,000 in 30 years, without adding another penny. The most crucial factor in this equation is time. The earlier you start, the more powerful compounding becomes. $1 invested at 25 is worth far more than $1 invested at 35. This is why Ramit says the single most important thing you can do to get rich is start early. So where should you put your money? This is where the book introduces a simple, step-by-step plan called The Ladder of Personal Finance. Rung 1. If your employer offers a 401k with a company match, you absolutely must contribute enough to get the full match. Non-negotiable. A company match is literally free money. If your company offers a 100% match up to, say, 5% of your salary, they're giving you a 100% return on your investment instantly. There's no better deal in finance. Rung 2. Pay off your high-interest debt, especially credit cards. Credit card interest rates are so high that paying them off is like getting a guaranteed investment return of 15% or more. Rung 3. Open a Roth IRA. In Ramit's opinion, this is the best deal for long-term investing for most young people. A 401k is funded with pre-tax dollars, meaning you get a tax break now, but pay taxes when you withdraw in retirement. A Roth IRA is the opposite. You contribute after-tax dollars, so no tax break today. But, and this is the magic, all your earnings and all your withdrawals in retirement are completely 100% tax-free. Over decades, this tax-free growth can be worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. Rung 4. If you still have money after maxing out your Roth IRA, go back to your 401k and contribute more, up to the legal limit. These accounts, the 401k and Roth IRA, are your primary wealth-building vehicles. But opening the account is just step one. You actually have to invest the money inside them. A shocking number of people transfer money into retirement accounts and then forget to choose investments. The money just sits there like cash in a checking account, earning nothing. This brings us to the most important question: what should you actually invest in? The book makes it incredibly simple. It destroys the myth that you need to be a financial wizard or a stock-picking genius. In fact, it shows that the so-called experts, the professional fund managers you see on TV, fail to beat the average market return more than 75% of the time. They charge you high fees for the privilege of underperforming. The solution isn't trying to beat the market, it's to be the market. You do this by investing in low-cost, diversified index funds or target date funds. An index fund is simply a basket of stocks designed to mimic a market index, like the S&P 500. It's managed by a computer, not a high-paid manager, so fees are incredibly low. By owning one S&P 500 index fund, you instantly own a tiny piece of 500 of America's largest companies. You're diversified, and your performance mirrors the overall market. Even simpler is a target date fund. This is Ramit's #1 recommendation for most people because it's the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it investment. A target date fund is a fund of funds. You simply pick a fund with a year closest to your planned retirement, like a target date 2060 fund. This single fund automatically invests your money in a diversified mix of stock and bond index funds from around the world. Even better, it automatically adjusts that mix over time. When you're young, it's aggressive, holding mostly stocks for high growth. As you approach retirement, it automatically becomes more conservative, shifting into bonds to protect your wealth. You buy one fund and never touch it again. It's the perfect embodiment of the 85% solution. Now we have all the pieces: optimized credit cards, the right bank accounts, and powerful, low-cost investment accounts. The final, magical step is making them all work together automatically. This is the chapter called Save While Sleeping. This is where you build your automatic money flow. You've already done the hard thinking about your conscious spending plan, how much you want for fixed costs, investments, savings, and guilt-free spending. Now you set up automatic transfers that do all the work for you. Here's how it works. On the first of the month, your paycheck gets direct deposited into your checking account. A few days later, your system springs into action. An automatic transfer sends your investment contribution to your Roth IRA. Another sends your savings contribution to your high-interest savings account. Your bills, rent, utilities, student loans, get paid automatically. Your credit card bill gets paid in full, automatically. What's left in your checking account is yours to spend, completely guilt-free. You don't have to worry if you've invested enough. You don't wonder if you've saved enough. You already have. The system handled it. You paid yourself first. The money remaining is for you to enjoy. This is the end of money guilt. This system takes a few hours to set up, but once it's running, it needs less than 90 minutes a month to maintain. You can spend your time actually living, confident that your financial machine is working for you in the background, 24/7, making you richer while you sleep. This is what it means to go from playing defense with your money, reacting to bills, feeling guilty about spending, to playing offense. You design the life you want and build a system to fund it. As you progress in your career and life, this system grows with you. The principles stay the same whether you're investing $50 a month or $5,000. But a rich life goes beyond just the numbers in your accounts. It extends to the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. The book tackles these head-on. When it comes to buying a house, it challenges the conventional wisdom that renting is throwing money away. It shows you how to run the numbers and see that in many expensive cities, renting and investing the difference can actually make you wealthier than buying. It's not an emotional decision, it's a mathematical one. For your career, it teaches you there's a limit to how much you can cut, but no limit to how much you can earn. Negotiating your salary just once can be worth hundreds of thousands over your lifetime. The book provides word-for-word scripts and strategies for demonstrating your value and getting paid what you're worth. And perhaps most importantly, it addresses love and money. Talking about finances with a partner can be one of the most stressful parts of a relationship, but it doesn't have to be. By approaching it as a team, sharing your goals, and creating a joint vision for your rich life, financial conversations can become a source of strength and connection. The book even walks through the logic around prenuptial agreements, not as a plan to fail, but as a way to have open, honest conversations and protect both partners when the stakes are high. From getting out of debt to saving for a wedding, from buying a car to helping your parents financially, the philosophy stays the same. Face reality, make a plan, automate it, and get on with living. In the end, I Will Teach You to Be Rich isn't just a book about money. It's a book about psychology. It's about understanding our own lazy, irrational, emotional tendencies, and instead of fighting them, building a system that makes our laziness work for us. It's about realizing you don't have to be a financial genius to be rich. You just have to start. You have to be consistent. And you have to define what being rich truly means to you. As we wrap up our journey through I Will Teach You to Be Rich, I want to reflect on why this book has had such lasting impact. On the surface, it's a personal finance manual. But look deeper, and it's really a guide to overcoming the single biggest obstacle between us and our goals, our own psychology. The most powerful lesson in these pages isn't about asset allocation or expense ratios. It's the profound idea that you can design your life. Most of us go through life reacting. We react to bills, to social pressure, to our own guilt and fear. We're passengers. Ramit's philosophy is a call to become the driver. It's about moving from defense to offense. What I find most brilliant is how the system he lays out is built for real, imperfect human beings. It acknowledges that we're lazy, forgetful, and that our willpower is limited. Instead of demanding we become spreadsheet-obsessed robots, it offers a path where our natural laziness becomes our greatest asset. By front-loading the work, spending a few hours to set up automation, we make the right decisions, the default decisions. Saving and investing no longer require discipline, they just happen. That's truly revolutionary. This book also liberates us from financial shame. The constant guilt over small purchases, the anxiety of not knowing where your money goes, these are heavy burdens. The conscious spending plan and the concept of guilt-free spending money are more than budgeting tools. They're psychological tools for happiness. They give you permission to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to spend on things that bring you joy, because you have confidence that your future is already taken care of. If you're just starting this journey, it can feel overwhelming, so let's bring it down to earth. Here are 3 simple actions you can take right now to begin applying these principles. First, identify just one invisible script you have about money. Did you grow up hearing, "We don't talk about money in this house," or that credit cards are a scam? Just recognizing that belief is the first step to deciding if it still serves you. Second, automate one small thing. Don't try to build the entire system overnight. Just log into your bank and set up a recurring transfer of $20, or even $5, from checking to savings each week. The amount doesn't matter. The act of automating it builds the habit and confidence. And third, define your rich life. Take 5 minutes and write down 3 specific things that a rich life means to you. Don't write freedom. Write, being able to fly home to see my family for the holidays without worrying about cost, or being able to donate to a cause I care about every month. Make it real. This is your why. This is the fuel for your journey. That was a summary of I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. We've explored the core of his philosophy today, but I'll be honest. Listening to a summary is like looking at a travel brochure. It can show you beautiful pictures, but it can never replace actually taking the trip. Real transformation happens when you engage with the material yourself, when a particular story resonates with you, or a simple script clicks in your mind in an unexpected way. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If any of the ideas we've discussed today have sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just learning, it's an investment in a future where you're in complete control. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. It tells us this work matters and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's continue to learn and grow together.